say hello to award-winning actress Patricia Clarkson. She stars in a new movie called Learning to Drive. She stars as a writer trying to navigate life and the road alone for the first time after her marriage falls apart. Patricia, good morning. It's good to see you.
Thank you so much.
This movie grew out of a New Yorker article from several years back, and as I understand it, this is a story that really stuck with you, and you've been wanting to make this movie for a long time.
I read this beautiful essay by Kathy Pollitt many years ago. I loved it. It has, it resonated with me 10 years ago, and I've wanted to make this film for 10 years. Sarah Kernishan adapted it beautifully, and Dana Friedman, this wonderful producer, never gave up in this business, never give up. And I realize now, when I played it, I needed to wait 10 years to play it, so it was actually a good reason.
There's a lot of layers here. Ben Kingsley, taxi driver, right? Teaches you to drive.
Teacher, driving instructor,
By
too,
the
yes.
way, if Ben Kingsley were a taxi driver and I got in the cab, I'd never get out of that cab. I think that's fantastic. But he teaches you a lot of things.
Yes. I mean, the metaphors abound here, but what's beautiful about this film is I think, this isn't a film about a woman finding herself. This is a woman about finding a better self. This woman had everything. I mean, she's brilliant, she's accomplished, she has a gorgeous husband in Jake Weber. Gorgeous. And a beautiful daughter in Grace Gummer. And then, her husband, she's thrust from an intellectual life, which is a great life, but to a deeply emotional life, and she has to look up and pay attention and take somebody else in, put down her phone, put down a book, and drive. Wow. And, I've often wondered, if all of us as adults had to learn to drive again, if it might make our relationships, our lives better.
Audience inside.
Is
it true you're a news junkie?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay.
I watch you all the time. I know everything you do. I know everything about you all day.
That's not good. And you still showed up. That's amazing.
We don't get that often. Yeah. So are you a radio news person? Are you stuck in front of the TV? Cable news, morning TV?
I love cable news. I love morning news. I seriously watch news all day long. It's a little bit obsessive.
We can relate.
We like that.
Be a guest host one day. It'd be fun to have you.
Of course, yes, I'm there.
You're here. Done.
She immediately said, "Here's some dates that work for me."
She's like, I just have a short reel with my work.
Yeah.
I heard actually the movie's called Learning to Drive. As you said, it's a great metaphor. But you actually mentioned that you haven't driven very much lately,
No.
so in a way, this was learning to drive, literally.
Because I have become a New Yorker. I was born and raised in New Orleans. My father taught me to drive at 16. And just a side note, my father taught, I have 4 older sisters, 5 daughters. My father taught 5 teenage girls to drive, and he's still alive. But I learned to drive. I drove all the time, and then slowly, as I've lived in New York 30 years, I've lost my ability. So I warned Sir Ben. I said, a lot of the times I'm going to be driving, really driving, and really learning to drive.
Watch yourself.
Patricia Clarkson, it's a pleasure. Learning to Drive hits theaters Friday. She's going to be back later with Kathy Lee and Hoda.